Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that can absolutely tear a community apart from the inside out: discord. And we're not just talking about a simple argument. No. The source material we're looking at today describes it as a kind of poison, and it warns against it in the strongest possible terms.
God and Us presents Proclamation to the Nation.
Let's be real for a second. You've probably felt it before, right? That bitter taste of discord, that tension in a room that's so much more than just a simple disagreement. So in this explainer, we're going to get into where that feeling comes from, the serious consequences it can have, and maybe most importantly, the powerful antidote prescribed to fix it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll define what this poison actually is. Then we'll dig into its root cause. After that, we'll see the serious judgment it brings, look at a really powerful case study, and finally, we'll get to the ultimate solution. Okay, so first things first, what are we actually dealing with here? See, when we talk about discord, it's not about healthy debate. Not at all. It's something way more dangerous, a quiet, subtle poison that can infect and just cripple a community from the inside. To really wrap our heads around this, we've got to zoom in on one specific Greek word from the biblical text. It's like a key that unlocks what's really going on under the surface when these kinds of divisions happen. And that word is Eritheia. Now, this isn't about two people who just see things differently. Nope. This word points to a very specific and very destructive motive that sits right at the heart of all this toxic division. So, Eritheia. It's all about a self-serving ambition that creates factions, cliques and parties. It's about jockeying for position and power. In fact, to give you some context, Aristotle used this exact same word to describe the selfish, often corrupt pursuit of political office. It's not about finding truth together, it's about winning for yourself. And we see a perfect example of this spirit at work in the early church in Corinth. People were literally creating factions, picking sides with human leaders. I'm with Paul. Well, I'm with Apollos. Instead of just being united. It got so bad that the Apostle Paul had to ask them a really piercing question. Is Christ divided? So you might be asking, why is this such a big deal? Well, because the consequences are incredibly severe. To really understand the stakes, we're going to turn to the book of Romans, where the whole idea of judgment is laid out with, honestly, some startling clarity. Wow, that's a powerful warning against hypocrisy, isn't it? The idea here is that criticizing other people is often just a smokescreen for our own stuff, We point the finger at someone else to kind of distract from our own issues, but in the end, we're actually condemning ourselves. And right here, it's all laid out. It's like we're presented with two different roads that lead to two very different destinations. On one side, you've got the path of doing good, which leads to eternal life. But on the other, you have the path that's driven by Eritheia, that selfish ambition, which rejects truth and leads straight to wrath and indignation. And here's the kicker. This standard is applied to everyone, with perfect impartiality. God doesn't play favorites. It doesn't matter who you are, what group you're in, or which leader you follow. The principle is exactly the same for everybody. Okay, so let's shift from the principle to practice. There's this incredible story from the book of Numbers that shows how our words, especially the ones that come from a place of fear, can literally create our reality. So check out this tragic chain of events. God makes a clear promise of victory. But then, the majority of the spies come back with a report that's totally driven by fear, not by faith. And then the people, they take that fear and they speak it out loud. They declare their own defeat. And the most tragic part? It became a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this quote right here is the chilling verdict. The original text says, "Juro pelo meu nome, que farei a vocês tudo o que pediram." Now in English, that translates to, "I swear by my name that I will do to you the very things I heard you say." It's incredible. Their own words, born from fear and disbelief, basically gave legal ground for their own downfall. It's such a sobering reminder of the power our words carry. All right, so we've diagnosed the poison, and we've seen just how devastating the consequences are. So, where's the solution? Well, it's not found in a list of rules. It's found in a divine antidote, the prayer of Jesus himself. And this right here is the pivot point for our whole explainer. See, the antidote to that spirit of Eritheia isn't just a command to, be nice to each other. It is a state of supernatural unity that Jesus actively prayed for all future believers to have. And guess what? That prayer extends all the way through time right to us today. Here it is. This is the heart of it all. Unity isn't just a nice idea to make church services more pleasant. According to this prayer, our oneness, our unity, is meant to be the ultimate testimony to the entire world. It's supposed to be the definitive proof that Jesus' mission is real. So the takeaway is crystal clear. Getting over discord isn't some side project. It's not optional. It is the mission. Our unity is how a watching, divided world gets to see what belief actually looks like. So we'll end with this question to just let that sink in. If our unity is the ultimate testimony, then what is our discord dismantling? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining us on The Explainer.